I don't know why I'm telling you this today. Maybe it's because the nights have grown longer. Maybe it's because the silence inside this house feels heavier than ever. Or maybe it's because I'm afraid that if I don't tell it now, the story will vanish when I do. I sit here in my rocking chair by the window, the same window where Henry and I used to sit together, watching the world pass by. The curtains are thin now, faded from years of sunshine and storms, but I've never replaced them. Henry always said the little yellow flowers stitched on them made the room brighter. I keep them because when the afternoon light shines through, I can almost see him smiling, just the way he did on warm summer days. Around my neck, there used to hang a locket. It wasn't much, just a small gold oval with tiny scratches on the back. Inside it, I kept two things: a photograph of Henry from when we first married, and a lock of his hair that the nurse cut for me on the day he passed. That locket was all I had left of him. It was my comfort, my prayer, my secret heartbeat. I wore it every day until the day my own son took it away from me. I grew up in a poor family, but when I met Henry, I didn't care that he was just a farmhand with rough hands and worn boots. He had the kind of laugh that filled a room with warmth, the kind of eyes that looked right into your soul, and a heart big enough to carry all my dreams. We didn't have much, but we had each other, and that was everything. Together, we built our life from the ground up. We laid the wooden boards of this house with our own hands. We planted the garden out back, and he hammered every nail in the barn with sweat dripping down his brow. I stitched clothes at night to make ends meet while he worked long days in the fields. And when our son Michael was born, oh, I thought my heart might burst. Henry was the proudest man alive. He carried that boy on his shoulders, taught him how to fish, how to ride a bike, how to plant seeds in the soil. He used to say, "This boy will have more than we ever did. He'll stand on the foundation we built, and he'll climb higher." We sacrificed everything for Michael. We went without new clothes, without fancy meals, without vacations. Every penny we saved was for his schooling, his future, his chance at a better life. For a while, he was our sweet boy. He hugged us tightly, brought home drawings from school, told us he loved us. But children grow, don't they? And sometimes they grow away from you. The day Henry died, the world collapsed around me. I still hear the doctor's words, flat and rehearsed, like he had said them 100 times before, "I'm sorry. There's nothing more we can do." I held Henry's hand as it grew cold, whispered prayers into his ear, though I knew he couldn't hear me anymore. When he took his last breath, it felt like mine was stolen too. That night, when I came home alone for the first time, I opened the drawer of his nightstand. Inside, I found his old pocket knife, his glasses, and that tiny strand of hair the nurse had cut for me. My hands trembled as I placed it into my locket, right beside his wedding photo. That locket became my lifeline. Every time I pressed it to my lips, it was as if I could hear him again. Every time I clutched it to my chest, I felt less alone. At first, Michael came often after Henry's passing. He sat with me, helped me with groceries, even fixed the fence once. But soon, the visits grew shorter. Then fewer. Until all I got were hurried phone calls. "Sorry Mom, work's busy." "Sorry Mom, the kids have soccer practice." "Sorry Mom, maybe next week." But next week never came. The holidays came and went. Sometimes he sent a card, sometimes flowers, but the chair Henry always sat in at the head of the table remained empty, and now Michael's chair joined it. I cooked meals, set the table, and waited. The clock ticked louder with every passing hour until finally I wrapped up the food for neighbors or ate it cold by myself. And then came the talk. The one I had dreaded. Michael told me I should sell the house. He said, "Mom, you can't take care of this place alone. You'll be safer in a small apartment, maybe near me." But I knew better. His words sounded kind, but the greed behind them was sharper than a knife. He wanted the money. He wanted the land. The house his father built with his bare hands. I told him no. I said this was my home, the only place where I could still feel Henry. From that day on, Michael's kindness faded. One afternoon, he came by unannounced. I was in the kitchen, pulling a pan of cornbread from the oven. The smell filled the house, and for a moment, I thought maybe he just wanted to visit, to sit with me the way he used to. But when I saw his eyes, I knew. They weren't soft. They weren't filled with love. They were hard, impatient. He walked straight past me, into my bedroom. "Where's Dad's locket?" he asked. My heart stopped. Why do you want to know? I whispered. He said it belonged to him now. That it was part of Dad's things, and that he deserved to have it. I clutched it against my chest, the chain digging into my neck. No, Michael. This is all I have left. Please, don't take this from me. But he didn't listen. His hands reached out, rough and quick. He yanked the chain so hard it snapped and left a red mark on my skin. I cried out, begged him, reached for it like a child reaching for candy stolen away. Tears blurred my vision, and I kept saying his name, Michael, please, please don't. But he walked out the door, my locket in his hand, and the sound of it slamming behind him was louder than any storm I'd ever heard. I never saw that locket again. The nights after that were darker than before. I sat in my rocking chair, my hands clutching at my empty neck, rocking back and forth, whispering to Henry as if he could still hear me. I told him about the cornbread I baked, about the way the leaves had fallen in the garden, about how empty the house felt. But it wasn't the same. Without that locket against my heart, it was as if the last piece of him had been stolen. Do you know what it feels like, child, to have the one piece of your love ripped away by the very person you gave your life for? It isn't anger that eats at you. Anger is simple, it burns and then it fades. No, what I felt was worse. I felt invisible. Forgotten. Like all the years of sacrifice, the nights of hunger so my boy could eat, the days of sewing until my fingers bled, all of it meant nothing. It has been years since that day. Michael doesn't visit anymore. Sometimes I hear about him through neighbors, that he's doing well, that his children are in college now. Do they know about me? Do they even know their grandmother's name? I don't know. Perhaps to them, I'm just a shadow, a story untold. But here's what I do know. Love isn't about what you get in return. It's about what you give freely, without expectation. I gave my son everything I had. Even if he doesn't see it, even if he never remembers, I know in my heart I was a good mother. And as for my locket, sometimes in my quieter moments, I like to imagine it's still safe. That may be one day when Michael is older, when his own children are grown and gone, when he sits alone in a rocking chair just like this one, he'll open it. He'll see his father's young smile staring back at him. And maybe then, he'll think of me. Maybe he'll remember the woman who carried him, who loved him, who gave everything she had. So that's my story, child. A story of love, of loss, and of a broken locket that once held a whole lifetime inside. If you still have your grandmother, don't wait. Call her. Visit her. Hold her hands, even if they're wrinkled. Listen to her stories, even if they're long. Because when she's gone, when her chair is empty and her voice is just an echo, you'll wish you had. And if you ever come across a little gold locket, scratched and worn from years of being held close, remember, it once carried not just a photograph and a strand of hair, but the very heart of a woman who loved with everything she had.